Okay, so we'll start with Peter.
Oh, here we go. This is my backyard, and I've got raised garden beds. I really like potting around in the garden, especially in COVID. It's been great. I usually don't have a winter garden, but I've really done well with a winter garden this year, and I really enjoy growing my produce. Got my lemon trees, got apple trees, got apricots there on the left. Then garlic and bok choy and broad beans and all sorts of veggies. Against the brick wall in the garage here, that's a herb garden there to grow my herbs for cooking. And now and then I'll fire up the wood fire oven up on the back fence, and I can peer right into that. So with the assistance of carers, I love cooking and getting into it. And my wife loves it when I cook too. Yeah. So, yeah, just a snapshot of my little backyard, but I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. Yeah. Here's my home in my home office. Because I can't put a keyboard or get too close to a desk, I have a little pull-out where my keyboard is, so I can just rock up to it and tap away. And I use a Kensington trackball that I can steer the computer via. On the left-hand side of the desk, you notice there's no feet or obstruction, so I can swing away and swing in easily. Yeah. And also, I've put a bit of a void or covered doors down very low, with a bit of a void there with a lot of power points and data points and cable connections and all that sort of stuff. So you can't see any of the wiring and it doesn't get caught around my feet. Yeah. So it's a bit of my space entertainment area. Got the TV there and other bits and pieces. And that's where I muck around. Yeah. Bring the sun up.
I don't see any paint chips in the paintwork under your computer there, mate. What's going on?
I'm too scared to chip the place because my wife.
You're not trying hard enough.
Yeah. I did it once and I learnt. Yeah. So my wife keeps a spotless home. She notices anything I do. So yes, darling, I love you. Yeah. So over there. Yeah. But I'm only mucking around. I've got pretty good in the wheelchair over the years. I put all my holes in the walls when I was in Talbot learning to drive the thing. And now I'm pretty good at it. Yeah.
I just noticed what's this up here in the corner.
Oh, yeah. That's my big bottle of scotch, Blue Label. But it's not full of scotch. Yeah.
Good that you're not wasting it.
Yeah, it's got a different colour in there now, but it's definitely not scotch anymore. Yeah. What's that? That's about a 4 litre. Blue Label. That was good. Yeah.
Nice little trophy.
I need another one to get me through COVID.
Blue Label, Peter, that would cost a fortune, wouldn't it? Especially 4 litres.
Yeah. You don't see them anymore. Well, I haven't seen them for a long time. Yeah.
I think like 700 mil is like a few $100, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah. So my son actually bought that for me. I've got a bit of a tradition with the family that when you get your first full-time payment check from your first full-time job, that you buy something for the house. I always bought something when I had my first full check for working, when I first became an electrician, and my dad bought something for his mum, and he sort of kept that, and we've kept that tradition going in the family. So I said, right, buy something for the house if you want to. It's a bit of a family tradition. Remember it forever. That's your first paycheck. Then you come home with that big bottle of Blue Label, so you must be earning too much money. Yeah.
Nice.
I've got an environmental control system built into my house, which I really love, and it's quite handy. That is my phone interface. So across the top, you'll see lights, TVs, doors, the heater back and front, and security. So that just lets me tap into different faces of my environmental control system for my house. And I can open doors or turn the TVs on, use the heaters, turn the alarm on or off in the garage and in the house. I'm a bit of a car nut, so I've got a garage with lots of car stuff and get into those bits and pieces, which was one of my hobbies. Yeah. So, but this whole interface for on the phone to control my house was a really it's a big assistance to me in life. Yeah. Without having to ask people to open doors or turn on lights, or I can leave and come as I please. And yeah, it just I'm actually sort of went light on at the start of this. I did this probably about 3 years ago, but now it's been so beneficial. Now I'm imagining how much more I can blend it into my house, and I'll take the next steps probably after COVID to do much more in my house with it. Yeah. Anyone got any questions about technology and how? Because we had a really good technology session with another person the other day, but just brings up a good subject about technology. Yeah. All right,
How long have you had the system for, Peter?
About 3 years. Yeah. At this level. Yeah.
And maybe Pete, just saying, like that session said, the new, I think it was iOS 13, was it? That program now has so much more optionality, doesn't it?
Yeah, iOS 13 is Windows, I think 10.
Yeah.
And onwards on the Apple phone. And so that has really good voice control and command, and you can buy quite a lot of Apple home appliances that can be controlled through that, and it's straight through your phone, then into the internet or your Wi-Fi system, and it's actually a really good option to go with home automation and very versatile, a bit cheaper, or quite a lot cheaper than this is like a C-bus system that I have. So it's sort of going forward leaps and bounds, this technology, and it's a big assistance. Yeah.
So where does it pick up the communications when you're speaking?
Depends if you're using ISO 13 or more on Apple, just go straight through your phone. So that's got a really good voice detection system now, the Apple format, and it's right up to speed. They've done a lot of work with Naturally Dragon, which is a good product.
Yep.
And they've got the same engineers working together apparently, and they've got the Apple format right up to really good specs of voice commanding. I've seen people that of high quadriplegics that really benefit from just having this system connected to the house, where I can touch the buttons, but they will use it with total voice commands, and every button will have a number assigned to it, a tiny number, and they might just say command 7 or command 3, whatever button it is, and they have a really versatile way of controlling their environment. You know, in anything that can be controlled with infrared, or like your TVs or anything. So there's quite a lot of stuff that can be done with this in this area. Yeah. If it's something you guys are interested in, we could run a different session, because it's definitely worth seeing. And we're also going to upload a session pretty soon. Jeff also talks a lot about funding bodies and how it's starting to get recognised really well with this automation stuff you can do in your environment. So Jeff works with OTs to help set up systems, and it's really important. Yeah.
You're very knowledgeable with it all.
Yeah. We'll go back to the photos, Kelly.
Yep. Now we go to David.
Oh, David, look at that. That's a cool photo.
Yeah, right. Well, the one on the left is when the kids were quite young, obviously. They were about 1, 1.5. And obviously I was a bit younger than what I am now. So yeah, the kid's mother and I separated when they were quite young, and so one way for me to transport them around was this little device, which was obviously a bike seat, which I attached to the front of my chair, and so I had one in the bike seat and one on my lap. Uh, that one has got Liam the boy in the car seat and Lily the girl on my lap, but I soon worked out that the boy's heavier than the girl, and so I swapped them around and so that the lighter one was at the front. But yeah, that was quite a good help for me to get them around down the street quite safely, and yeah, so yeah, that was really good.
Lovely.
And that was put together by my dad. They're just a little bracket on the front of the chair and the metal attachment for the bike seat. The one on the left, the picture there, that was the first day that I took my kids flying in the plane. That was a very special day for me because as a pilot, I really wanted to take the kids flying, but that was a bit of a no-no from the other half, if you know what I mean. And then eventually, they were old enough, and I had a few more years under my belt as far as experience is concerned, and so that flight was halfway between Deniliquid and Echuca, and so that was just a very special day for me, Red Letter Day.
But do you still fly these days, pre-COVID, Dave, and
Well, I haven't actually flown now for a couple of years, but that was one reason or another. But I do have my current. Yeah, I had difficulty getting my medical clearance this last time round, but I've now got that, and it's just that I don't know, just haven't had the time, haven't had the inclination to go flying for whatever reason. But yeah, it was about a year and a half ago, I suppose, that I flew last time. And I think that was over to Yarrawonga for a disabled pilots flying. Because I started the Australian Disabled Pilots Association, that's of pilots that are fully qualified. So we've got about, I think about 20 pilots from around Australia that get together once a year generally, spread from up to Queensland, out to Tibooburra, down to Melbourne. We've got paras and amputees and type 1 diabetics. You might not think that that's a disability, but this type 1 diabetic guy has to check his blood glucose before he goes flying, every half an hour while he's in the air, and again afterwards. And so he had great difficulty. He was the first type 1 diabetic pilot to get cleared by CASA to be able to fly independently. Every other type 1 diabetic pilot has to fly with an accompanying pilot. So we get together about once a year or so, and but we haven't done so for about a year or so. The last one was over, as I said, over to Yarrawonga.
I've seen that organisation pop up now and then, doing scholarships and come and fly days and assisting people with their job.
Yeah, that's actually Wheelies with Wings, it's called, and that is different. That's getting new pilots up and running. That's run by Rob Rickards, and he lives down near the Yarra Valley somewhere, near Coldstream, I think it is. But you can get onto Wheelies with Wings, and you can have free flying lessons up to the point of going solo, and then you can get a scholarship to progress through to getting your full license. But that's with RA, which is recreational aviation. It's too hard to explain today, but there's recreational aviation and there's general aviation. General aviation is through CASA, and that's what I'm qualified as, which is a higher standard, and that's why I can take 4 passengers instead of the recreational aviation can only take 2. Can only take 1 passenger apart from the pilot, I should say, 2 people.
And did it take you long to get your wings, David?
Well, yeah, it took me about 2 years, I think it was. I've been flying now since, for like 20 years, but it took me about 2 years, but that was because the instructor kept on leaving, you know. I had to go get new instructors and then, you know, backtrack with my training and stuff to prove to this new instructor that I could actually fly. So it was a bit, it was long and drawn out for whatever reason, yeah.
Well, I thought it would have taken longer actually, but say if it would have been seamless, how long do you think it would have taken for you to get your wings? Yeah.
Oh, if you had the time and if you had the money, you could, you know, do it in a couple of months. But that doesn't give you the depth of experience. You know, you've got to really get the hours under your belt before you, and the depth of experience, which only comes through time, really, and talking with other people about, you know, learning from older pilots, you know, more experienced pilots. It's you know, it's not just a matter of you know, getting, you know, it's like driving a car. You know, you can do your hours on your L plates and get your license, but then you got to learn how to drive properly, don't you? You know, it's the same thing. You know, getting your pilot's license is a license to learn how to fly.
Yeah. Oh, it must be beautiful to get up there and soar around. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty calming, and just running your wingtip through a cloud. It's nice. Yeah.
Got a question, David. So, I mean, it's not like if you want to learn how to drive with hand controls again, you can't just call R83V. Like if someone wanted to get their license, do you actually have to have your own plane and modify that? Or is there like planes around the place? Are the modifications quick and easy to do?
Yeah, it's a bit of a difficult one. You don't have to have your own plane. No, you've just got to have access to a plane with hand controls. The plane that I fly is out of a Chuka Aero Club, and but the hand controls that are on that plane they belong to me, and they've just let me put the hand controls on the plane. I just hire the plane like everybody else does. Some people have their own plane. I had a plane when I first started, but then had to sell that because of the divorce and everything. But that's what happens. But yeah, you know, there are planes around with hand controls on, like the Wheelies with Wings plane that has hand controls on, and you can hire that, I believe. And yeah, so you just got to get access to a plane with hand controls on.
Oh, that's good because like if anyone wanted to get into it, like it's not a common thing, you know. People wouldn't know what to do. Would they have to buy their own plane? But it's good to hear you can get modifications done and it doesn't ruin the plane. You know, you can transfer it maybe from one plane to another plane too.
Well, it depends on the type of hand control that you want, or that you need, I should say, and the type of plane that it is. So as to whether or not it's a permanent fix to the plane, or whether it's a set of hand controls that it just attaches or detaches like mine do.
I remember in previous years, Wheelies and Wings have done days in Bacchus Marsh to come and get people into the air. So that was with gliders and other things. I remember seeing stuff from New South Wales, that there's a place out there that do Wheelies with Wings. Yeah, so it's out there a bit, isn't it, David?
Yeah.
How many places do you know of that you can fly and be supported with the disability? Yeah.
How many places do I know of that? Sorry.
That will support you if you've got disability, if you're interested in flying. Yeah.
Well, Wheelies with Wings. Look, any flying instructor, if you can get access to a plane, look, any flying instructor will teach you how to fly. Just as long as you've got a plane with hand controls, they're not going to knock you back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Are there any questions for David? No? Okay, I'll go to the next
Oh, that
one.
was great. Thanks, David.
Yeah, that was really interesting.
I think there's one more slide, isn't there? Oh, yeah,
Yep.
there it is. Yeah, well, this is another really meaningful photo for me, and that's a day back in 2003. No, sorry, 2013. That next to me is my dad, who's 83 years old, and sorry, he's 87 now, but he was 83 then. I think he was 87. Anyway, I can't remember. Yeah, that was the last day that he skied with us as a family. So myself and my two kids and my dad at Falls Creek. He's still going well, but he can't ski anymore. And so yeah, just that photo on the snow at Falls Creek was just a really meaningful day as well. So yeah, and as I said before, I've been skiing since '85 too. So my dad was a skier back from. He won the intermediate championships for downhill skiing at the Australian Intermediate Championship for downhill skiing. He won that in 1956.
Oh, cool.
Wow. So it's in the family.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, I was skiing before I had my accident at Mount Buffalo, and yeah, the whole family was skiing, and but I obviously didn't do anything at all. Obviously between '68 and '85, so it was great to be able to get back into it.
Tell us about your transition into the mono ski or the sit ski that you got there, David.
Yeah, well, I started off in a home built sit ski, which Dad made out of just an old fiberglass seat and a tractor leaf spring, and attached that to a ski, and so that was what I used for a couple of years, and then he changed. We experimented with different designs. And I was able to get a shell from overseas, from Austria. The shell meaning the bit that you actually sit in. And yeah, so we experimented with different shock absorber mechanisms. And so this sit ski, I purchased that, I don't know, about 5 or 6 years ago from the same place that I got the original shell from Austria, from Alois Quackberger, and it's a really good sit ski. I'm quite happy with it. Yeah, so rip down the hill pretty quick still.
And which mountain do you like to go to and support you the best in Victoria?
Oh, Falls Creek really is just so much more accessible for me anyway, even though like the Winter Sports Australia go to Falls Creek quite a lot, and they've got a chalet at Howman's Gap, so you can stay there. Although Mum and Dad, when they live at Myrtleford, of course, which is only an hour and a half away from the hill. So I haven't stayed at the Howman's Gap accommodation, but I believe it is pretty good. And Falls Creek for me is just so much more enjoyable because you can ski as a family. It's got really nice slopes, not too steep. Whereas Hotham, I used to ski all the time at Hotham, but that's a real skiers mountain, as John Raccanello had attested. It's like you've got the baby slopes up at the summit, and then it goes from there to black runs pretty much. So. There's not too much in between. Whereas at Falls Creek, it's there's a lot of blue runs, and if you really want to challenge yourself, you go over to Ruin Castle or over on the summit, which is they're all black runs. So it's got a bit of everything over at Falls Creek, and it's really good mountain.
I'd love to hear the procedure after you go down the slope to the chairlift. How they support you to get on the chairlift, or however that works. David, run us through that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the sit ski opens up. You just undo a little clip, undo a lock, and then you push up with the outriggers, and that opens up the sit ski, so that the chairlift can come in underneath your seat, and then the lifties they pull you back into the seat, into the chairlift, and away you go. With quads, there's the um, double ski that they use, and there's I think there's a bit more assistance given with both the towies and also the accompanying person. But yeah, the towies are just magnificent up there. They'll help you whatever you want done. They'll help you. So it's a really good mountain for that. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. So you stay fixed in it, and it just opens up and stay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and then when you get to the top, you just ski off, and as you ski off, it clamps back down, and then you just ski off to the side, and you do the lock back up and keep skiing. Sometimes you just you can do all that on the run. You don't even have to slow down.
A lot of times, us wheelies get some good treatment when we go to concerts and stuff like that with excellent seating and stuff. You get straight to the front of the queue or anything like that when you go skiing. Yeah.
Look, yeah, sometimes you can, but like the best thing about skiing is that it's a truly integrated sport. You integrate in with everybody else. I don't jump the queue. I probably could if I wanted to, and nobody would blink an eyelid about it. But I don't. I go in with my kids anyway. So they're with me, and I don't ski by myself. I always ski with someone, and so they're coming up in the same chairlift with me. So yeah, it's a truly integrated sport. It really is. You're not skiing with other disabled people, and you're skiing with your family. You can ski with your friends, whatever. It's great. It's a fantastic sport to get into.
I used to be used to snow ski quite a bit, and I was one of those people waiting in line and used to watch the moto skiers come with their families and jump into the ski line or the short line and get straight on and go off again. And sometimes they'd have a bit of an entourage with them, and they all got on to go with this person. I thought, God, that's a good trick. Yeah.
Have you been up with winter sports yet? Up to Helmscoat?
I probably wouldn't be for me because I'm such a wuss now of the cold, to the snow. And I think first place plan I'd be back in the chalet or back at the pub. But I should give it a go because I really did love skiing. I used to ski at least 3 to 4 weeks a year.
Yeah, you should give it a go.
Yeah. No, it's so the advancements that the moto skis have taken in the different types there are. Tell us a bit about that. It just seems to be really opened up of late. Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is the single ski that I ski on, and there's a double ski one which has got carved edges on it, and which is a lot more stable for quads and so on, because as you ski, the skis actually, which way am I going? That way. Yeah. So the skis cut in and turn like so, which is really good.
Yeah. And it's so good to see the support that the lift companies give people with disabilities at the snow these days. You can book it in winter sports, and there's other ones around that really will assign a couple of people to you and take you around all day. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's winter sports. We'll do that. Yeah.
And there's no real fees in that. That's just like joining a club.
That's it. Yeah, you just pay your fee to the Disabled Winter Skiers Association, and you get half price lift tickets for yourself and for your accompanying person, for your guide, and then discounted lessons as well, as I understand it.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, of late we've had a few like high quadriplegics that can't ski like themselves, but they go up there for a day or two and they get totally, taken all over the mountain by guides and they're with their friends and so it caters for all levels. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Awesome.
Thanks for sharing, David. It's really great photos there. We'll move on now to Ian.
Hey, me. Now got to find a. Nope, I've lost everything now. Got a pretty unstable internet connection here. One thing there, I've got a little Segway there that I can use and have used a bit. I used to use it a lot at the farm. Very, very interesting wheelchair for an electric wheelchair. You can go over anything in it. Very stable, but it looks very unstable when you're in it or when you're looking at it from somewhere else.
So does it just have two wheels?
Just the two wheels, yeah. So it's just like the normal standing Segway. And if you tilt forward, it goes forward, tilt back, it goes backwards. It's got a little lever at the front to left and right it. You can control it very accurately. It's just as accurate as an electric chair. I only use those when I have my hands done for operations. But that one was perfect in the vineyard. I could go up and down the rows anywhere in the farm. It would go through any sort of mud or gutters without any issues at all. So I could highly recommend one of those if you.
Oh yeah, I find the concept quite amazing how it keeps upright and doesn't fall over. Or I've actually seen someone try and push it over while someone's in it. It actually pushed them over. That's how much strength it had. Yeah.
Ian, have you tried? Have you heard about or seen the one from New Zealand? Is that? Have you looked at that?
Diogo.
There's one that stands up.
No, there's one called. It used to be called the Ogo. It's now called Omeo.
I haven't seen that one.
It doesn't have the handle at the front of it.
All right, yep. I have seen one of those on demo, and I'm thinking, yeah, I like the handle to keep me in.
I agree.
You'd be a bit more precarious if you've got to lean forward and backwards all the time, and I'd be more worried about falling out. But with that one, that's good.
And is there a trick to transferring into it?
Well, the handles, there's little handles on the sides there around this. I don't know whether you can see that. But they fold down flat. So you can come on with a normal manual wheelchair to the side of it and put a slide board I use to get on, and you just slide across onto it. So you don't have to lift onto it, and you don't have to lift over anything.
Now, I also know you're a self-driver. You drive your vehicle from your wheelchair.
Yeah, I do. I transfer onto the seat, actually.
Oh, sorry.
I go up the ramp and then transfer onto the seat and drive from the car seat.
And do you do
I find that a bit more comfortable and less precarious. I used to use it by driving from the wheelchair, but I wasn't very happy with it. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
What do you drive, Ian?
Just a Voyager. It's a bit of a trashy car. It works, but by geez, I wouldn't buy one again.
How old's your Voyager, Ian? Oh, we've lost Ian by the look of it. Ian, maybe turn off your video and then it won't be as hungry for data. You can just use your voice. If you can hear me. Yeah.
Yeah, so Peter, what would they call the wheelchair that balances itself? I mean, that's pretty impressive, and like you still need pretty good balance, I think, to be able to operate that.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, pretty bad internet connection here.
Did you hear Naz's question about what your balance requirements would be needed to control a wheelchair like that? Yeah.
Well, I've the C6, so I've got nothing below the armpits. But I've got a decent stomach, even though I can't get rid of it. I try hard, and I can lean forward and backwards. And I've got easy enough body control. You don't need to be much, don't need a lot. A couple of inches forward, couple of inches back, and you're right.
You haven't had any big scares or nothing?
When I first started with it, before I lifted the sides up a little fraction, about 2 inches little block there, so I could put my arm.
So it sounds like the backrest is adjustable for more support. Well, that's pretty good. I don't know, that would be like something that I wouldn't use every day because it looks scary to me, but I'd pay for a ride.
You can get on a normal wheelchair, so I had it put on that. And it sculpts around the side, so it keeps you nice and firm, so you won't fall out sideways. But very secure. If you wanted, you could put a strap around your chest if you wanted to, but I don't use one. It's a good little unit. They work well.
Yeah, I don't know if it works in those because it tends to go where you lean and lift. So if you were to go down the beach, I reckon you might end up in the water.
No, if you can take them on the beach, and you can go side. Like if you just lean, you just use the front handle to steer left and right, and it'll turn on itself, so it'll turn within its own frame.
No, I really like the concept. And I haven't seen many of them in the country, and you just went through the normal means with an OT and trying it out.
Yeah. TAC provided it, I must admit.
Well, and you had a bit of a trial of one. Was it a bit scary or something you thought, this would work for me? Yeah.
When I was on the farm.
Yeah.
And I took it around the farm.
Oh, we've lost Ian again. Yeah. That sounds like it was something you progressed and tried and it worked out. Yeah.
Shall we come back to Ian when he's free? I can't see him at the moment.
No, yeah. So maybe we'll skip forward ahead of Ian's pictures and see what's next. Yeah.
All right. Georgina.
Oh, that was just a very last minute picture that Naz asked me to send through, and that's just myself and Andrew at St. Peter's Basilica in Italy, or at the Vatican. Yeah, that was last year in September or October. I'm not too sure if we're already in October. Yes, we would have been, yes. Yeah, so that was a really beautiful day. Yeah, I had a wonderful time. Very lucky to have got in that trip before COVID. And you could probably just see a little bit of my free wheel there, which pretty much I used every day when I was overseas. We went to England, Paris, and we did a round road trip in Italy and saw some of Andrew's family in Milan and down south in Bari. So yeah, so that free wheel was just the best, and I just got it in the nick of time, and it was through NDIS funding. I didn't think I would use it every day, but yeah, in those sorts of old places where there's a lot of cobblestones and there's curbs and what you have to tackle here and there, it just saved Andrew from having to help me, with any sort of obstacle, and so he could walk freely and without worrying about me. So I had about 1 week's practice here at home, but pretty much soon enough I got used to it, and because the wheel, as some of you guys know, tilts, or your chair tilts a little bit, like a few mils, so you just have to get used to that new sensation and just manoeuvring around. So yeah, so that was our trip of a lifetime, and one day maybe I'll get the opportunity to go again.
Tell me the principle of the free will and how and why, and bit more detail for people who may be interested in something like that. Yeah, how it assists, makes things so much easier. Yeah.
You want more detail, did you say?
Yeah, a bit more of the theory behind it, how it, just how it smooths out your ride and it makes the chair a bit easier to travel over things. Yeah.
Oh yes, definitely. I'm not an expert with my wheelchair skills, so this helped me a lot. I mean, a lot of the guys that have got more experience or are more confident in their chair would be able to tackle, little steps here and there, but I'm more cautious. I don't know whether it's being female, but I'm a bit more cautious and wary, and I just don't like falling down. I mean, like you said before, David, our bones aren't as strong and it can be easily breakable. So I just want to avoid anything like that. So yeah, I just heard other people talk about how easy it is and how smooth it is. And yeah, was it Anthony who went to Europe and used it? He's the one that encouraged me to get one. Yeah, it's just, as you know, I'm not very good with technical terms. Other people probably can explain a bit better, Peter, than myself, because all I do is I've got this wheel and I just go, sort of thing. I don't know the intricacies about it, but all I know that it works. And unfortunately, I haven't used it since I've been back, mainly because I did get a new chair since, and obviously you've got to fit it to your plate, and you've got to have enough room on your foot plate. And I guess there's different settings for different foot plates and different chairs, so you've got to get it all installed properly. And thankfully Andrew's handy with tools, and being a fitter and turner himself, so he was able to adjust everything for me, and if things were loose, he was able to adjust it. But so you got to know how it works. So I sort of left all that for him to worry about, Peter.
That's good. Well, I suppose it just makes you more confident in the chair. Like, you won't fall forward, the chair won't tip forward. And I suppose that little arch or that little wheel lifts the front of your wheelchair up, so it sort of gives you a bigger wheelbase. And,
Yes.
Yeah.
I've used one since 2015, Peter and Georgina. Like Georgina, I got mine to go to Europe and Italy and France, Austria. If you're going overseas, it's a must.
Yeah.
I think, because of the cobblestones. In 2010, I went over there in a normal wheelchair. I'd say a quarter of my travels were done on my back wheels because of the cobblestones and getting caught out. Never actually fell out, but many a times I nearly did. I had my wife with me, and she was my guard. But I really love it. If I go out now and walking my dog or whatever, it's the first thing that hits on my wheelchair, so I can go over dirt, go over grass. It's fantastic. And the principle of working is that the front wheel is like a caster wheel. So when you sit it on your wheelchair plate, the wheel is forward of the whole system, and as you start moving, as in the caster, it turns around and lifts your little wheels off about, I'd say, 30 millimetre in my case. You can have it more. And that gets me over everything. But I go up gutters with it, down gutters with it, very stable. Yeah.
John and Georgina, do either of you, I know John's got a smart drive, but I'm not sure whether Georgina has got one or has used one, but do you use it in combination with the free wheel?
I have, yes. Only because I've been lazy. No, when my shoulders get sore, I've been using both. Yeah.
Does that work okay?
Yeah, no worries at all.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, I can add a little bit more to that. With our NDIS support coordination, when we see people get one of these, a smart drive, we always get the freewheeler wheel with it. We suggest that they combine it together because it just makes it more of an outdoorsy type thing.
Yeah.
it's fine to use the Smart Drive inside, but if you want to go walk the dog or do whatever you can on a fairly flat surface, the freewheel on the front also gives you that much more and confidence and to travel a bit better. Yeah. So we always get them to add it on or get the OTs to suggest that they combine them together and they love it. Yes.
I don't have that yet, but it is on my NDIS, one of my NDIS wish list sort of thing. I sort of want to do the exercise and push myself up the little hills, but there will come a time that I'll need more help with that. And so definitely I'll get on to getting one and getting a quote and do the whole thing. But just going to ask, having the Smart Drive behind, does that sort of make you feel a little bit more stable with the free wheel in front, you know, lifting the angle of your chair a little bit? Because I was always afraid at first that I was going to go backwards, but I guess the balancing thing, having the free wheel up further, the actual, the wheelchair will be balanced. You're not likely to fall sort of thing. The weight's on the front, further at the front, but having the Smart Drive behind, does that help or not really?
Yeah,
Like a anti-tipper sort of thing.
It does a bit, but not like you wouldn't want to rely on it, you know, totally.
Yeah.
But it does, because it does put down a fair bit of a print, like to be able to get grip and to prepare. But you know, in saying that as well, the Smart Drive isn't like a true outdoor stuff. When you get onto loose stuff, it's not as good. Yeah. So it's more that, you know, urban type situation. Yeah. We'll go back to the photos. Who have we got here?
I
Well, that's me. I really like cooking and every. No, it's not me.
Oh, you must have got this from me last time. These photos, I didn't send this today. That's my oven. I just wanted to show you the oven door, how it slides underneath the bottom there, and it just gets it out of the way for you to take your food out and also to put food in. I know some people like to use their actual oven door as to put their stuff on, but I guess it's all up to how long your arms are, I guess, reaching into the oven. And so basically, if you have a bench right beside the wall oven there, you can easily move stuff from there to the bench, providing that it's heat proof. So yeah, so that's a Neff oven, N-E-F-F, and it's sort of, I think them and maybe one other brand offers this option for oven doors.
Georgina, I've got a door that opens out to the side.
Oh yeah.
And that's a standard oven that's available at the shop, basically.
And you don't have any trouble with the door trying to close back?
No, it opens right back out to the bench.
Okay.
Nearly to 180 degrees.
Yep. And you can get them from both left or right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
This one here, Georgina, you're saying some people use the door as like a platform to put stuff on. With this, you can still do like, could you slide in the door only halfway so you can get close to the oven as well as put something on the door if you needed to?
Yes. You've got to just be careful you're not pushing it in too far. It's not that slippery or slippery, so you could leave it open and put something on it. But what I normally do, which I probably shouldn't even say or recommend, is like I would have the door right, hide the door completely, and then if it's something a little bit too heavy that I don't feel I can use one hand to hold the tray, or if it's too hot, I would have a large chopping board on my lap, and underneath that I would have like a towel or a tea towel, and then basically put the tray or whatever I've cooked onto my lap, and then I'd be able to wheel myself to wherever I want to put it, say, if it's the kitchen table straight away or further down the bench. But yeah, so you've got to be comfortable to do that as well, because it's sometimes hard to maneuver something with one, like something heavy, and then push the chair at the same time. So I guess if you've got enough room on your lap, yeah, it depends how confident you feel.
Yeah. Hey, Jude, I might get you go a tiny bit closer to the computer because your noise volume fades in and out now and then. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Hey, the racks, the actual racks on the oven can pull out as well. So you can pull them right out and support. They support themselves. So I can see it's a double. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Mm.
Not that I cook that often, but if I have to, sometimes if Andrew's in the house, there's no point me trying to take it out of the oven. It's just safer if my husband or anybody else can do it. But if I'm home, I know that I'm able to do it if I'm home by myself.
Now, Naz told me to say that about the trays pulling out because he cooks a lot and knows ovens.
Yeah, of course.
I can see that you don't cook very much by about how clean the oven is, Georgina.
Oh, no, David, I must admit it got recently cleaned by this Avenue, this mob called Avenue, and they came to clean it. It was not in good condition. So not that I cleaned it specifically to send you guys the photo, but it actually, I was quite embarrassed. It was pretty bad. So no, I'm not. But now I'm really religiously cleaning it afterwards so I can maintain it, because it wasn't that cheap to get it cleaned. But thank you anyway. I'm glad you find it looks clean.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. Sorry, go on.
That's it. Thank you.
I think the next photo, I've pinned a few photos from John, but it's up to you if you want to talk about it or not, okay? John, you there? John?
Mr. Racanello, that's you.
Is he still up here?
No,
No.
Yeah? Okay.
it's
I'll
gone.
talk a little bit for John. That's the bowling club in Moala. We actually had a come and try day there, and John took us through some of the procedures. So that was really good. His wheelchair had big flat wheels on it, so you could not put dents in the artificial type arrangement there of the turf. You should control it. So that's John just getting down low on the mat and showing how he bowls, and from the club in Moala, which is really good. Yeah.
And I think John was the one who helped get a specific lawn bowling wheelchair for that club as well. So he helped advocate for it as well.
Yeah, that's right. And that chair stays at the club, Kelly?
Yeah, it does. And you can borrow it for free, I believe. You just got to pay for the bowls.
Yeah.
Cool. Next photo.
I can see him.
Come back, guys. Oh, look at this.
Oh yeah, this is my photo. The reason I like this photo is I'm the one standing in the background there.
No, you're not.
Oh, you're right. I'm right. I'm the one on the right, down the bottom right. So this was taken only a few months before I broke my neck. So only a few 100 metres from where I usually go with my friends when it was nice weather. Just spending some quality time. And this was sent to me probably 15, 20 years after my accident. So I was not one for photos, so I didn't have many photos. And when this one was sent to me, it was pretty special,
Wow.
You haven't changed
Yeah.
much. Still got the long hair.
Sorry?
Still got the long hair.
Yeah, as you can see, it's a 80s/90s cut.
Call it mullet.
Yeah, exactly. That was the thing those days.
Good
Oh,
boy.
shot, I love it with the boys. having a good time.
Yeah. So it's really good when I got a copy of it, you know, because I don't have many photos during that period.
Mhm. Really nice photo. Next one.
This one, I think this is Josh's photo. Is Josh there? I can talk to it if Josh is not there. So me and Josh, we played wheelchair rugby for Australia. After that, we started helping develop wheelchair rugby in Southeast Asia. And this is one of our trips to Bali, where there was an international competition over there. And the other guys in the wheelchair was the rest of the Australian team. I think these photos, well, they're of Josh and me as well. These are Josh's photos. So the first one there, that's Arnold Schwarzenegger. And we do inclusive sports at the Arnold Sports Festival, which is every year, except this year because of COVID. But yeah, just got a photo with him, which was really nice. And the other photo there, after rugby, Josh started getting into, so these are Josh's words, but he wanted to try his hand in another sport, so he got into track. And he's actually trying to qualify for Tokyo at the moment. So he would have been, if COVID wasn't around, hopefully in Tokyo competing. So he trains every day, and Thursday mornings there's a track near where we work, and he invited me to sort of join him doing some laps around there. And yeah, I've been doing that for a few weeks, but it's hard work. He laps me like about 10 times. He does about 10 laps to my one lap. Pretty embarrassing, but that's okay.
I've always wanted to ask this question, Naz.
Yeah.
Is Arnie's leg muscly? Because you're having a good feel there.
It was, I don't know if he had a bad back. I was hoping he'd get on his knees, you know, so it's about the same level of us. And he never, and we thought, oh, you know, you can't just sort of pose in front of him. You've got to touch him somewhere. So that's where our arms came together. And I mean, you can tell we both had the same thought there. You know, I mean, if we didn't have our arms around him, it'll look unusual.
He thinks us Australians are weird. Us wheelchair. Yeah. Awesome photo.
Yeah.
Great photos.
Hey, Kaylee, can we jump back to Ian's photos because we skipped over a few there?
Yes, yeah. Let me just go back to it.
Saying that I was going to talk to you about. Can you see me? Sorry?
Yep. What was that?
Yeah, it's Christian. The new freewheels, they come out with a little gusset on the top arch, and you can slide a little basket into it.
Oh, yeah.
That way, you know, instead of being a grocery trolley, you can actually have a basket in front of you on top of the top arch of the freewheel.
Yeah, I used to bolt a milk crate on the top, and you put stuff in it.
Yeah, right. How'd you do that? Just U-bolts or?
You can get a little frame that comes with it, and you put that on the top of it, and it just bolts on, as you say, and you put a milk crate on it. And if you want to go in the street or around the farm or whatever you're doing, it worked really well. You each reach it and get a lot of stuff out as well.
Actually, there is a question I want to ask about the freewheel. How quick is it and easy is it to put on and off yourself, Ian? Yeah.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah.
Very easy.
Yeah.
You can usually attach it to your back bar or behind you.
Yeah, you can hook it on the back.
Take it with you.
Okay. And what about this one that sits in front of you? This Easy Rider. Yeah.
The one.
Which one?
Sorry, the one here. That's the freewheel.
Yep. So yeah, that just goes in front of you, and that's really clips on.
That's the standard freewheel. It just sits on top. Yep.
But that's like yours, Georgina, isn't it?
It's the
It's
same
exactly
thing.
like mine. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Same one.
And Georgina, do you clip it on and off yourself?
I can. Yes.
Yep. It's not too bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Not too bad. I mean, I'm supposed to be able to click it behind me, but because if you got someone with you, they can do it for you. Or
Yeah.
if you're not using it, just clip it off and then just leave it
You can
until
chuck it
you
in
use
under the
it.
chair as well if you need to, in front of you,
Yeah,
between your legs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a folding chair, and I believe that I've actually got freewheel approved by the NDIS plan, and I believe the bracket to attach it to a folding chair is a little more extensive, and I'm sort of thinking, well, I haven't actually used it, but I'm thinking that I'm going to have to not just detach the freewheel, but also take the bracket off before I can fold the chair up, I think.
You might not. They're pretty good little units.
Yeah, well, I hope that's not the case, yeah.
Yeah. So does this attach to your foot plate or the bars on the side of your chair,
The
guys?
foot plate.
So you can get ones that attach to the bars on the side of your chair?
I don't know.
No.
Yeah, so Dave, you can get some ones that the two bars going down next to your legs, that they've got brackets there, and they just clip on there. Instead of the foot plate.
Okay.
Yeah, the foldable chair, the foot plate is foldable as well. That's the trouble with putting this type. So yeah, have a look at the ones with that clips onto the bars next to your legs going down. Yeah.
Yep, I will.
So this next photo, Ian. Ian?
Like he's gone again.
Yeah, so I'll talk a bit for Ian.
Terrible.
Oh, you back, Ian?
Yeah, I'm back. Now I'm not. It's coming and going all the time. It's got a little motor on the front wheel, which is controlled by a thumb throttle on the handlebars. So when you're using it, you can give yourself a little nudge when you're going up a hill or over a gutter or in the bush. And you can sit on a decent speed, say 10k an hour, and the motor will kick in at 10. The motor will turn off after you get up to a certain speed. So you can set the speed at 15k an hour, and once you get up to that speed, the motor turns off, and you're doing it yourself. So you can sort of have a base level of speed that you want to run at, and then you can give it another 10k if you want to on top of that. So you get a lot of good exercise out of it. And it's a bit more useful than the normal, well, without the motor in it for me.
Yeah. And you use that in and around the Chuka? Ian?
Yeah, I go in the bush, around the...
I think we lost him again.
Okay. Yeah, so I've heard Ian tell me before, being in a Chuka, he can take it a little bit off-road and on the smooth roads and get about. I'm not quite sure how far he goes, but I think he said one day he got about 15k out of it, but I'd like him to confirm that. Yeah, I really like how he's got a bit of a platform there to drive up onto too. So I suppose that makes his chair level for him to transfer into, which is a great and simple idea of having those back wheels on those step-ups and just roll on and roll off, which means you can do it with independently as possible, which is...
Yeah, they're just car ramps. Bought it super cheap.
Awesome. Yeah. And so you can do that by yourself, Ian?
Yeah, I can. And it's got I just bought a bike rack to sit the front wheel in, so it's stable and doesn't move. So when you're getting on and off, you just ride up into the bike rack, and then you just pull yourself back, you just roll backwards out of it. So I just come from the garage between the two cars, straight up into the bike rack, and use a slide board to transfer sideways.
And how far do you reckon you get in distance with this arrangement with battery?
If I'm using it most of the time, I'll do about 20, 25k.
Yeah.
And the most is about 30.
I'm sorry, I can't see where you put your feet.
So down in front of the front wheel?
Front wheel. There's two little hoops there on the right by the front wheel. And
underneath the helmet? Oh, no.
No, further forward by the wheel itself.
Okay. Oh,
And
yes, you would have long legs.
Yeah, you can change the length. That's
Okay.
fine. And it's got little stirrups there where you put your feet in with a Velcro strap to stop them from bouncing out.
Okay.
And
So
you have
you-
your knees slightly bent so you can turn the wheel either way. Really
Yeah.
good for exercise. You can ride on any bike path with it. And if you're a little bit aren't very strong, you can put the motor on it and it works particularly well.
Awesome.
We need to see you in motion.
Oh, well, I'll do a video with me using it as soon as the weather warms up.
I've got a powered hand cycle attachment that attaches to your chair. I don't know if I can. Kelly, can you allow me to share my screen?
Yeah.
Tell us when you're ready, David, because when you've actually got the photo up, then we'll share.
Yeah, photo's up. I'll just if Kelly just lets me share screen, then
Okay. You can share screen.
yeah, righto. Can you see that?
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so that just attaches to the front of your chair, and it's powered hand cycle. So it's a hybrid, as I said. So you you can get your bit of your exercise as well as a bit of power as well. So it really takes minimal effort to travel along at 10, 15 kilometres an hour, which is really good.
I've always wondered.
Where'd you get that one?
Sorry.
I
Go.
got that through, I can't remember where I got it, through NDIS anyway. They came to the party with that. It's about $11,000 worth, $12,000 worth. And I think it came through, well, it's a quickie thing, so whoever your dealer is, your quickie dealer is. Yeah.
And these things
but-
actually go really fast. We've got a couple of guys in the country that use these things, and they reckon they get up to 45k an hour. Some model.
Yeah, I don't know whether I can go that quick, but yeah, it depends on your gearing, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
And,
definitely tipping a lot more in comparison to the freewheel there.
Actually, I don't think you are. Well, I think it really does depend on your. That's only up about 20 or 30 mil, the same as what.
Oh, yeah. It's
Yeah.
deceiving because of the front wheel. It's a lot larger than the freewheel.
But it's all adjustable. You can adjust the height and everything on here.
Yeah.
If you wanted to only be off a couple of mil, but if you're off only a couple of mil off the ground, then you're going to hit all your rocks and things like that as you go over, particularly over gutters and things like that. If I go over gutters, these little jockey wheels, they hit that, because they're not very far off the ground either.
Okay.
And it takes you
Take
2
those
seconds.
off.
No, it takes you 2 seconds to clip on and clip off. It really is quick.
How heavy is it?
Really quite heavy, actually. Yeah. It's really quite heavy. I'm going to have to try and get some sort of device to attach to the back of the car, I think, to be able to transport it around, because it's really too heavy to lift into the back of the car.
Yeah.
so it supports itself on those little wheels when you're not using it, so you can just drive on it and drive on off it.
Yeah, that's right. It just, you have a little lever up here, which you pull that little red one there. You pull that, and that disengages the clips down here, and then you just push the whole thing forward using this black handle, and that lifts those off and drops your chair down, and then you just put it. Then it just lowers onto the jockey wheels. Very simple.
A few guys we know that have these prefer to use them more than their car because it's so quick to put on and off, and they'll just go down to the shops, do a bit of shopping, or go to friends. If it's within that close vicinity, even though they can go quite far, it's actually quicker just to jump on that rather than transfer and do all the other stuff.
Yeah, and I took mine down to Echuca with the kids on their bikes, and we did 25 kilometres or something, and I did that easily, and that was with a buggered shoulder too. So it wasn't around the bike path. It was just so easy. It was really good.
Yeah. Hey, is it hard to pedal and steer at the same time, or you have to stop that? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a double crank like that.
Yeah. And good for your shoulders, being a bit lower, not being up high.
Yeah, that's right. The physios keep saying that you know, anything out the front is good for your shoulders. It's anything above your shoulders that is not good for your shoulders.
No,
I'm
awesome.
sorry, guys, I'm going to have to go. It's very nice meeting all of you. And thank you for sharing your lives and all your tips and tricks. And yeah, take care during these times. And yeah, thank you, Peter, and thank you, Kelly, as well.
Thanks, Georgina.
All right.
I'm sorry
Yeah.
to go.
Second day in, doing well.
I'm going to have to go too, guys.
Yeah. No
Thanks for the
worries.
chat. Catch you later.
Yeah, thanks
Okay.
for sharing, Ian.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Awesome. Thanks, Ian. That was some great stuff. It's been some interesting stuff. You can easily burn time up looking at other bits and pieces. It's just interesting, especially when people show you how they use it and what their thoughts are, and it adds so much to it, the lived experience.
Fire, supporting people with spinal cord injury. It's about life.